Welcome back to AM Northwest. It's a pie rich in flavor and American history. Here to share a recipe from her latest cookbook, we welcome back the author of Baking in the American South, Anne Byrn. Anne, great to have you with us again.
Thank you, Helen. It's great to be here.
You bet. So let's talk about George Washington Carver, because he was quite an incredible man.
He really was. He's from Alabama, from Tuskegee area of Alabama. You know, he was an early scientist and a writer. Over 100 years ago, he told people in the South that really you would be better off if you stopped growing cotton and would plant sweet potatoes and peanuts. You could feed your family, and it was better for the soil. And he wrote a lot of important papers and pamphlets for the U.S. government that shared recipes, early recipes using sweet potatoes. He was a fascinating man.
Yes, absolutely. So now tell us about the sweet potato pie recipe.
So this is his recipe, and actually in the research for my book, Baking in the American South, you know, I found this recipe in an old 1958 cookbook.
Wow.
And it was really more than just a paragraph. I was able to sort of take that description of that pie and bring it to life. And so it is really a double crust pie. So I've got one pie crust in my old cast iron. I love this Lodge cast iron skillet.
Oh, okay.
Pie pan. And then I have par cooked, you know, sweet potatoes. And
what does that, I'm sorry, what does that mean, par cooked?
That means halfway or nearly soft.
Okay.
Because I want these to be cooked, but I want them to still have a little texture to them because they're going to bake again in the oven.
Oh, right.
So that's what and you always cook sweet potatoes in what we call their jackets, which is in the peel, so unpeeled. And these are beautiful garnet sweet potatoes right here that you can get.
Oh, look at that.
There's different varieties. I mean, just wonderful varieties. And there are sweet potatoes that are purple on the outside and white inside. So have at it. They're all sweet and delicious, and they work in this pie.
What's the difference between a sweet potato and a yam?
Technically, there's a botanical difference a little bit, but most of what we have in the United States is the sweet potato.
Okay.
And the different varieties have been cultivated for our climate here. But some states, and Louisiana is one of them in particular, they eat a lot of sweet potatoes, but they do call them yams.
Yams, okay.
So I think they're one and the same. So this is about a pound of sweet potatoes. And then this is where this recipe gets fun, because I have just got, you know, you can use cloves, you can use cinnamon. This is ground ginger. Clean out your spice cabinet. And it's just, there's a lot of cinnamon and allspice. And so really it's just up to you. You want big dashes of about 3 or 4 spices, whatever you love.
Okay.
And then you're going to put on butter, about 4 tablespoons of butter. Love this. That you know, cut up ahead of time. You could use salted or unsalted. This is salted butter, but if you use unsalted, just add a pinch of salt with it.
By the way, the cookbook, baking book is just beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was a great 3-year project. It is baking through the American South, but you know, it really shows the commonality of so many different regions in the country and how we bake. And it's really, it boils down to the land and the people.
Right.
It is the story. And the South is a complicated place, but it is full of history. And for people who love good stories, there are a lot of them.
Okay, so before I forget, because I'm planning on making this, there was sugar, and then there was molasses.
Molasses, yes. A little bit of molasses, 1/4 cup of molasses, and then a cup of cream. Okay?
Oh, my.
Yeah, but it's fabulous. You know?
Yes.
Yes. And then we have a little bit of something to thicken it, which is about 1 tablespoon of flour that I'm going to sprinkle over. But if you're gluten-free, you could use a gluten-free crust, and you could actually just use about a teaspoon and a half of cornstarch. Same thing. And then about 1/3 cup of water. And I know that looks really strange and whatever, but it bakes up into this, and it's just wonderful. And I'm going to reach down here. And I've got the top crust of the pie just goes on top. And you press it together.
Now, at the bottom of the pie, in the first pie crust, did you make any dents or anything like that? Or you don't need to do that in this kind of pie?
No, you just put it in the pie crust. I mean,
Okay.
this is like pie baking 101. You know, it's so easy. And the thing about this pie is that it really comes together in the oven. you honestly just dump it all on, sprinkle it all on. I'm going to cut about 6 slits so that
Okay.
it can fit. You could do a nice little pattern. And then I'm going to take a fork and just go around the outside of the pie to seal the two crusts together.
You are making this look very easy.
It's super easy and nobody will believe. You know what? It's almost like a sweet potato casserole as a pie.
Okay, as a pie, as a pie. Oh my gosh, that looks incredible,
And
Ann.
that's it. 350 oven for maybe an hour.
Okay.
But really, it depends on your oven, and it's great. And then what you get is just wonderful.
Oh,
It's
look
almost
at that.
it is because I think it's breakfast time out there in Portland, isn't it?
It is. It is. Ann, thank you so much. Thank you for the recipe on the pie. We will put that on our website at k2.com. But again, the book is titled Baking in the American South. Ann Byrn, thank you so much.
Thank you. Great to see you.
Great to see you. We'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.